Hello and welcome to the Coach's Lounge with yours truly, host Barbara J. Beckley. We are back for another amazing show. As you always know, I get so excited when the Coach's Lounge comes on because this is a chance that I get to meet, talk to, just have conversations with some wonderful coaches, mentors, and educators that are helping you and me get through life, either business or personal. I always tell people, everyone needs a coach. Everyone. If Oprah has a coach, come on. Yeah. Barbara Walters had a coach. Yes. Eddie Murray had a coach. And then the list can go on. They all have coach and they have more than one. So with that, I want to let people know that this is the opportunity to meet, listen, and get to know different coaches all around the world. And see, I don't have particular coaches I bring on. I bring on any coach that they say are coach because I want to make sure that you have that opportunity to hear different coaches and what they do, because you never know, you might listen to somebody, you might like the connection you have with them, just listening to what they have to say and what they do for others and say, you know what, I think I want to call them. I want to reach out to them. I need that in my life. So with that, I wanted to put a light, yes, a visible light on coaches because they don't really get the love sometimes. I'm a coach too. And sometimes, we're always trying to push and we want to make sure you're doing right. And we're giving you tips and we're telling you what to do, or we're giving you little homework assignments, as I call it. But, and then everybody's like, they're wonderful. And we're pushing you out there. We're kind of pushing back to push you out there, right? But we never get somebody to say, well, you know what? Let me let you know that this coach helped me with this, or this mentor was here. And I didn't see a show like this before. So I said, you know what? I'll create one. And that's what I did. Been doing it for 5 years now, and so proud of each and every person that comes on because they are, and you're going to hear a lot of this tonight because the person I'm going to interviewing he is amazing. Yes, he is. Russell Katzman, I'm telling you, you're talking about changing business world. He has done that. You're going to hear a lot about that. You're talking about a person that's taking a corporate or just a small business, any type of business, and say, you know what? We need to get some things going here. So your job is to make it more simple, gather more information, and make sure when it's coming out there, when you're talking in leadership wise or everything, that it makes sense, that you're strategic at it, and you're getting things done. And that's what Russell does. So with that, I'm not going to say anything else because I don't want to take the floor from him. I already told him, I said, this is the time for you to be selfish. So we want him to be selfish because he deserves it of everybody that he works with. So right after this video, we'll be right back. Hello, and we are back. If you're just tuning in, you have tuned in to the Coaches Lounge with yours truly, Barbara J. Beckley, as your host. To you and for you to meet the amazing coaches that comes on the show, and the person that's sitting right next to me, and I'm gonna call him a king. He's amazing, wonderful coach. Hello, Russ. How you doing today?
Hello, Barbara. Thank you for the introduction. Yeah, I was sitting here jamming to your music and lead in. I was just kind of bouncing back and forth. So
yeah, I was kind of too. Appreciate you. So first, before we start anything, I'm glad you said that because I do appreciate your time. You could be doing anything right now, but you came on the Coaches Lounge to share some of your wisdom, some of your tactics, things that you do for others with your coaching. And earlier, Russ, I noticed that, the love, and sometimes we don't really look for love because we just want to see we want to see people change. We want to see the hope that they need that we can give them and all that good stuff, right? And that's at the end of the day, we want to make sure our clients and who we work for are just on top of things. Yeah. But you got to give us some love back too. So that's what I want to make sure. If you're not getting it from anybody else, you're getting it from the Coaches Lounge today. So with that said, I want to always start off because one thing I love, Russ, I like to hear backstories. Love them. So, because you just didn't like ta-da, and you're just it's amazing coach and help these companies, but it took something was there. So, can you give us a little bit of that?
Yeah, the theme you'll hear from me probably several times today is this idea of evolution. I think when we're young, we think we script out the future. We think we know where we're going and what we're going to do. And now I've got a 21-year-old, and I'm watching the same kind of thing with him. Maybe he knows what he's doing, maybe he doesn't. But the fact of the matter is, when we're young like that, we expect things to happen in a certain way, and we don't necessarily give ourselves permission to evolve. We do the same thing as business owners and as leaders. We think we are going to do things a certain way. We think the business is going to turn out a certain way, and we don't give ourselves permission to evolve. And so as I look back to the origin story, if you will, it's all a story of evolution. I started out in accounting 30 years ago. Wow. I was an accountant. I loved numbers as a kid. And came out and did my undergrad in accounting, came out in worked for a regional accounting firm out of Madison, Wisconsin, and loved the people there. I was good at accounting. I'm still good at accounting to this day, but I was horrible as an accountant. And I say that because accountants typically tend to, and I mean, very stereotypical, but it's the way it was, especially in the mid-90s, very much the ticking and tying and detail-oriented individuals who are going to look at the details and match them up and all that kind of stuff. And I just wasn't getting out to the full story, right? These are the numbers, but what do they mean? What does it mean to the business? Is the business owner doing well? Is he not doing well? What's the story behind it all? As I tell my clients now, the numbers are like looking at this room through a keyhole. It's one version of the truth. Yeah. There's so much more that goes to it other than just that. And so what I found was I was searching for those stories, and I just wasn't content being an accountant. So after a couple of years, what did everybody do in the mid-90s? We went into IT. So I went into IT. It happened to be that somebody had left this accounting firm in the IT department. And so those guys recruited me over burgers and fries one day to come over to the IT department. So I did. And I found there was an interesting niche because the accountants and the IT individuals did not speak the same language.
Yes, most of the time.
Yes.
That is not. I didn't cut you off just real quickly. To me, it's not surprising. I just wanted to say
no,
that.
It's not surprising. In fact, what I learned over time and the niche that I found as I expanded it was no two parts of the business speak the same language. And there's a high value add from somebody who can speak to all different parts of the business. And so I spent the next 20 years trying to figure out how to speak to all parts of the business, right? Marketing, logistics, sales, treasury, you name it, the executives, the staff, the management, middle management, all of those, right? Picked up a bunch of certifications along the way. I've got more letters behind my name than I have letters in my name. All of these kind of things that build up your resume as a leader in the business environment. Come 2011, I was working for a government contractor that made some not so smart moves. Lost a bunch of their revenue overnight, had to strip down to basically boots on the ground people. Any of us in strategic roles were let go, and use that as an opportunity to step out and contact all the vendors I've been working with and say, what do you need? How can I help? I was pulling out a couple contracts with them. And what ended up happening, Barbara, was I found I was doing more coaching of the consultant than the actual consulting myself. So the individuals from the vendor were saying, well, how would you approach this? How should I take this to the client? How can I do that?
Yeah.
It's interesting too. And so what ended up happening, long story, a little bit shorter, was I spent the next decade internal. I found a role in Tampa, Florida, internal to a large $2 billion company that, over the course of 10 years, I went from, being brought in at a middle manager level to being head of strategy over the course of that time. But I found that all along I was coaching these small businesses on the side.
Okay.
And fast forward to 2020, give or take. And at a time when I think many of us were taking stock of where we were. I was in the boardroom of that organization talking to them about strategy and realized I was asking them the same questions that I was asking these little guys.
Okay.
Yet the small business would take it and run with it. Next time I talked to them, it was a completely different issue. Right? The big boys, not so much. It'd be the same conversation year after year. And that's when I realized I love to work with the small ones.
Yeah.
So now I do business coaching, executive coaching, leadership development for everything from pre-revenue startups to a couple $100 million, give or take. The bulk of my clients, probably 80%, are under 5 million in revenue.
Okay.
Many of them are in that first million.
Wow.
It's a very dynamic space. It's a very early space, but it's very dynamic one. It changes constantly. And I love what I do. I'd do it for free if I could.
See, that's when you're doing your purpose. When you can say that sentence out, and I can say that to mine when I do the media, what I do. So I totally get it when you say, you can do it. If you can do it free, you would do it because you love doing what you do. And you love the results that you can help people get, like you said, the small business. And it's interesting you said, Russ, that, the big boys, as we call them, or the, corporations, you would go back and it was like the same thing. But the small businesses that you would work with, you would, say, do this or, strategize with them. And they would run for it. Like they would just eat it up and just Zoom. Yeah. So why do you think, before we move to other things, why do you think that was where, they were, it was a two difference in that capacity?
A couple things. One is you're changing the tires on a semi going 80 miles per hour down the highway. It's not an easy approach, right? You're trying to take it, in that case, a couple $1 billion organization and alter its course through one conversation. It doesn't really happen that easily. And then once you finish that first conversation, everybody gets excited and on board, and then they go back to the day-to-day, right? And the demands of their day-to-day and what's right in front of them. And they've got phone calls and emails and people knocking on their door. And as much as they would love to put time and effort into that bigger, call it 3 horizons, Horizon 2, Horizon 3, they've got to deal with Horizon 1, what's right in front of me right now. And as a result, they don't get a whole lot of time to set back, and it has to be deliberate time to be allowed to build on that future inside. Whereas the little guys, they don't have a choice, right? They have to deal with today, tomorrow, the next week, all of that, all at the same time. And today, the most urgent thing is I got to get a client. Great.
Yes.
Go get a client, go get a client, go get a client. Well, next week, okay, I got a client. Now what? Right. Now what do I do? Well, service your client. Well, that's great, but I don't have the software I need, or I don't have the people I need, or how can I service the client and continue to sell for the next client?
Yes. And that's where you come in.
It's one of the many ways that I pop in. It's interesting because, and I tell this to people all the time, I had all of that business background, and I thought these little guys, they're going to eat it up, right? Because the the true impact of having a conversation with one client. When I've been in an organization that had 2 billion clients and $2 billion worth of clients in countries around the world, 60 some thousand employees, how much is one hire really going to matter? So the things I've been through, they'll eat that up.
Yeah.
You know what they really come to me for? It's none of that. None of the operation stuff, none of the finance stuff. They need a sounding board. They need somebody to talk to. If they don't talk to me, they're going home and their spouse is kicking them out because they don't want to hear about the business anymore. They don't talk to me, they're going to beers with friends and talking about the business at beer with friends, and the guys are saying, hey, dude, lighten up. We're here to have fun, not to talk about your business the whole time.
That's interesting. Wow.
They want a sounding board. They need that outside perspective.
It's a perspective. You know, it's interesting you say that, because I'm thinking about some of my clients right now where a lot of times, because I have weekly strategy calls with them regarding their show and everything. And sometimes they just want to, like you said, I be having like an agenda ready to, like you just said, giving them information that I've learned that I can help them move the needle. And they just want this, well, I just need to borrow, what do you think? Or I have this. I'm like, okay, we're supposed to be talking, in my mind, I'm thinking, Russ, we're supposed to be talking about this information. And they just want to just, So that's interesting. Wow.
And what you just said is where a lot of coaching goes wrong. And if you ask me what my differentiators are in coaching, one of the big ones is I tailor everything to where we are right now. We're going to set goals. Yes, I want to know where we're going. What are we building? If you don't have a destination in mind, I can help you run a lot faster. We're just going to go the wrong direction. So you have to have the destination in mind. But the fact of the matter is, every week it's something different. Because I can have Barbara 1 and Barbara 2 sitting here on the call side by side. And when we're done with the call, one takes an email, one takes a phone call, and you're in 2 different places.
Yeah.
Right? So and by the time we go through business and we meet a week later or 2 weeks later, so much has happened that your business is maybe in a completely different place.
Yeah.
And so I can't drop something in front of you. I don't have my notebook with me, but I can't drop the notebook in front of you and say, this will get you where you need to go. Just follow this. It doesn't work that way.
Doesn't work. Yeah. Every week is, like you said. Yeah.
Now, the fundamentals of business are easy. Right? I can do that with a 1-page business plan, and I talk through that with everybody. The fundamentals of how business really works is easy. And then we add people. And we add employees, and we add employees, and then we add customers, and we add executives, and we add spouses and children and life, and all of that complicates business. Yeah.
I love that. I love your philosophy. Like you said, I can give you 1 page, then the people come. It's like, okay, here we go. Now we're having fun, right?
Yeah, business is easy to understand in a vacuum.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, it's why I can work across any industry. And I've worked with everything from spiritual healers to guys who make baseball bats to guys that put tile on the floor.
I'm glad that you brought that up, because you read my mind, because that was the other question I was going to ask you, like, what type of business do you work with? Because, some people have certain ones, but I'm glad that you said you're open because you have worked with all different types.
Yeah, that's my hidden talent, is I read minds.
Well, you did good this time.
I got it. No, for me, the thing I tell people in networking groups and whatnot, my approach is pretty darn direct. And so because of that, I work very well with high ego individuals who maybe they didn't plan to run a business. Maybe they are used to being the smartest person in a room and nobody tells them no. To other individuals who just are kind of blue collar. They don't want to take the time. Home services, for instance. If that sun's up, I tell this to marketing individuals all the time that want to go to home services. I said, if that big yellow orb is in the sky, don't expect to talk to them. Because they're out there doing plumbing and electrical and HVAC and all that kind of stuff every hour of the day that they can get out there. Right? They're trying to fill it. And so for them to get coaching, it has to be quick. It has to be direct. It has to be them sitting in a truck, jumping on Zoom with me, talking through what's been going on for the last week or the last couple of weeks. And we have to have the opportunity to be able to have that conversation and have it direct without a lot of fluff and fuzzy stuff if they don't want to get into that.
Yes. Yeah, because they don't have that time. Like you said, they have to get it at that point.
Yep. Wow. So there's a lot of, it's doctors, lawyers, chiropractors, construction, for some reason several years ago. Maybe it's the approach, but I get into a lot of construction industry several years ago.
Okay.
And as I said, home services. But the one that I market to, and this will lead you to the podcast that I was telling you about earlier. The one that I market to is sports and fitness and wellness.
Okay. Sports.
The thing I always tell my clients, I said, figure out who you want to help before you decide what you're going to do. Because who you want to help will determine what their needs are, and then you create a value proposition to match those needs. Right? For me, I love sports. I love talking business. I do it 7 days a week, but I love talking sports. And you'll hear me with a lot of sports analogies. So for me, talking sports, fitness, wellness, the human condition, I do a lot of marketing to those businesses as well. So I probably have a fifth of my clients are in that space.
I love that. And see, again, you're doing what you like to do, and you're talking to people that, especially if you're working with them with sports, you're talking to them what you love is sports. So it's like you have everything like this little I'm doing everything I like to do. And guess what? You're getting paid for it.
You get paid for it.
Yeah,
I love it.
That's so I love it. So I was going to ask you when you bring in, like, say, certain business, like you say, you can, really tend to any of them.
Sure.
What would you do? Because I know a lot of people have, well, I want to say that because some people are like, you don't know what I have, Barbara. Let's just put in general, okay? Audience out there in general. Say a lot of the people that come to you are the biggest thing. There's like you just said earlier is, well, you know what, Russ? I just don't have, I need clients. I need to find clients. Where do I find clients? Where do I go? How do I resonate with them? How do they know that what I can do for them? And you answered it a little bit just a minute ago, which I love. When you said you see what needs you can meet for them before you say, this is who I work with, basically. So can you just give us a little, how you work with business in that capacity?
Yeah. So you're right. Most people will come to you and they say, I need more sales. All right. Why do they go looking for a coach? Why do they go looking for help? Because they need more sales. Right. Sometimes it's because they're feeling the emotional breakdowns and the stress of it. And somebody says to them, dude, you got to talk to somebody because you're driving me up a wall, or you're getting depressed, or you need the help, something. But a lot of times it's, I need more sales. And my response to that is always the same thing. If I tripled your sales today, could you fulfill it?
That's a good question.
Right. So then it's not just sales. Then we have an organizational issue. Right. It's the same thing. People come to me and they say, I have insubordinate employees. I said, no, you have a culture issue. There's a lot of times what you end up happening, especially in the coaching space, is people will come to you with their symptoms.
Yes.
They'll say, I don't have enough revenue. They'll say, I have low productivity. No, you have poor time management. Right. They come to you with the symptoms when the core issue that you have to address is further up the line. Now, my job as a coach is not to say, hey, this is what you need to do. It's to talk you through the thinking to get you to the place.
They might not understand.
To get you to the place of where you are being able to address the core issue and recognize the core issue at that point.
And that's the digging part.
That's the digging part, yes.
All of us as coaches, we're that. I always say we always have to dig for that gold. And the goal is getting to that point where it really is, because like you said, I'm glad that you exclude. That was so good what you said about, you don't have that problem, you have this problem, because a lot of people, you're right. They always say the symptom, and we have to get to, I always say, this is, people laugh at me. I said, we got to get to the root of the problem. I always say, we got to get to the root of it. And they're like, Barbara, you keep telling. I said, we do, because everything you're telling me is Band-Aids right now.
Yes.
You need to figure out what the main thing is. And sometimes I find out, Russ, and I don't know if you do too with your clients, that there is a fear or there is some confidence somewhere that's not there. And they don't even want to say it. And when you met them for the first time, they seem like they're real confident. Sometimes they're really like, oh, I'm fearless and everything. And then when you start really talking and seeing what the real deal is, I'm like, oh, you're like, oh, now I see what's going on with you now,
Yeah, I'll tell you a quick story about that. I just had a leader that came to me, and I'd known him for a little bit of time, but I had seen him in various capacities and saw him enter a room, saw him come online and stuff. And the guy is charismatic, right? He's E.F. Hutton. When he was in the room speaking, people shut up, they listened. He just had that that type of charisma.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And he called me up one day and he said, well, Russ, I've got this leader that's struggling with, this and this and this.
Mm-hmm.
And I listened to this. Okay. He says, what would your approach be? And I kind of shared with him what my approach would be. And some of it kind of went around, fear and or, just questioning his own leadership a little bit and some of that. And of course, a few minutes into it, he's like, all right, I got to come clean. It's me. But, that, and then we start talking about it, right? And it's that fear. It's that that current expectation of yourself and the expectation from your leadership team. And when you're the CEO, I tell people all the time, it's lonely at the top. I don't care if you're the entrepreneur who's got a family that they're supporting, or if you're an executive who's on top of that $2 billion company. Yeah. It's lonely at the top. Yeah. And so having somebody to talk to, a coach in some capacity. I say this all the time. I said, if anybody knew what a business therapist was, I describe myself as one.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. You sound like that's another hat.
That's what it is. Well, to me, it's the same hat, because it's that combination of business coaching and life coaching that when you're in that capacity, you really need, because that you're not a standard business coach that has an agenda that's going to talk you through your profitability, that's going to talk you through your revenues, going to talk you through your marketing plans, going to talk you through your hiring and firing plan. Mm-hmm. Shouldn't stop there, because that's just part of it. Mm-hmm. Now let's deal with your leadership style and how you take the company through change. And do you have an imposter syndrome, or do you have a God complex? Some of these things that from the emotional side, they get in the way that, as I told you, I'm pretty darn direct. I'm going to call you out on it, and we're going to talk through it, and we're going to figure out where it came from and get to the root of it and figure out how we change how that manifests in the business so that the business can grow out of it.
I like your style. You just straight. I love it. I tell people, and it's funny because I like that style that everybody around me, if it's a friend compared to a coach, compared to a client, I like all that straight, because I don't want to beat around the bush. It's like, okay, let's get this taken care of, what really it is, because I want to help you out, and me not telling you, or not. Well, I won't say tell, but just suggestions. I have to say that now because people keep telling me, "Bro, you can't tell nobody what to do." I say, "Yeah, you're right. I can give suggestions though." And
you're a coach, not a consultant, right? Yeah. If you wanted to tell people what to do, you'd be a consultant.
Yeah, I was like, you need to do this. You need to do this right now. I told you, Yes. But no, I'm better. I got over that. But yeah, I tell people. I express all the time my opinion if they ask for it. And then another thing was, have you ever had a poor person that say, Russ, I really just want your opinion on this. And then when you say, okay, you really want my opinion? You can tell them, I really want your opinion. Okay, and you tell them your opinion, and they're like, you asked for my opinion.
You asked for my opinion, and I will give you my opinion. You're not going to like it, because we've been working together long enough. I know how you're going to react. In fact, I'll write your reaction down here, and we'll see how close I am to what you actually said. Because let's read of the minds again. Yes, and that's just it. And it's you could say it'd be a mind reader, but more it's a based on your personality and everything I've heard from you so far.
Them.
I'm pretty sure where you're going to go with this, and so you're not going to like this, but I'll give it to you because you pay me to give it to you. People ask me all the time. They say, "What does a coach really do?" And I said, honestly, we just ask great questions. That's all it is, right? It's questions that make you understand more about yourself, or understand more about the business, understand where this should go or where that should go. But you really ask questions to get the conversation going and get that person thinking down the train of thought that they should be to be productive for their business. It's not telling. It's coaching. You mentioned it yourself. Oprah's coach would not be sitting there telling her what to do. It would be, how do you think that went? Well, I felt okay. Yeah, I don't think it went that well. What do you think you should do here? What do you think you should do there? It doesn't matter if it's Oprah or Tiger Woods or Luke Skywalker. He had Yoda. Whoever it is, they've all got coaches of some capacity.
Yes.
And I love the fact that you said that in the opening introduction, that everybody needs a coach. That's been my mantra since day one. I've coached other coaches, and especially business coaches. And I've had people come to me and they say, "Oh, why would you coach your competition?" I said, there's 33 million businesses in America. If I can't get mine, no.
Yeah.
There's plenty of coaching to be done. And I would just as soon promote the profession and help others do the same type of thing for other businesses, because everybody needs it.
Yeah. There's how many million people in the world, I keep telling, and if we're going to worry about that, then I need to look at my coaching. I always tell people, if I can't help another coach. Yeah, definitely. Oh my God, I looked at the time. I was like, this has been such a wonderful conversation. I've been learning so much. I said, I'm probably have to hire you myself. Now I want to think about this.
Well, there's a wonderful website you can go to and find out more information.
And that's coming later. But before we get to that, I want to make sure, first of all, again, thank you. This has been a wonderful conversation. And if you don't mind, I'm going to put it out there. If I can bring you back again, that would be amazing. And there's so many other things I know you do, and I would love to have those conversations with you for the audience. So I want to put that out there. That's just give my little ask if you could come back. But before that, we want to make sure that you get any lasting thoughts that maybe didn't come out in our conversation. So I'm going to take myself down for 30 seconds, give you the platform for a minute, and then we'll come up, and then we will let you know where to get his website, because you definitely need to have that to contact him. So I will be right back.
No, I appreciate that, Barbara. I think the thing I'd want everybody to leave with is this idea of evolution and transition. The bulk of the individuals I work with are going through some transition of some sort. It's the entrepreneur who never thought they were going to build a business out of baking apple pies, or the executive who was terrific as a sales individual, never thought he'd be leading an entire sales department. The veteran who came home from serving overseas, who now doesn't know what to do with the next step of their life, or the person who sold their business through M&A and they're not sure what day one looks like. I spend quite a bit of time coaching those types of individuals. You heard already the types of industries that I work in. Truly love the work that I do. And my goal is to let everybody just live your legacy, because if you wait to leave a legacy, you're missing half the fun.
I didn't want to come back up. You were, I said, you can talk a little bit more. No, that's okay. I got to respect your time, but this has been powerful. I'm telling you, I tell everybody, please reach out, and I'm going to make sure to put the banner up here. I do not want to forget. There we go. Right there. Boom. So take a picture, a snapshot of that. If you're watching this, if you're going to watch it in real time, or if you're watching it, VOD, video on demand, where it's always going to be shown on my platform, to make sure that you can always reach out to this wonderful, amazing Mr. Russ. Oh, this has been great. I just want to leave it up a little bit more there. Again, people, as we said, we both said, I told you as a coach, and the other coach that's amazing right now here, he said the same thing. Everybody needs a coach. Please make sure, even if you have to do back and forth and strategize and get your thoughts out there. Get your thoughts out there, because most of the time, 95% of the time, you have the answers. You really do. But sometimes you have to hear it outside, and you got to hear it with the person and get that back and forth and say, you know what? Oh, yeah. And at the end of the day, you're like, you keep saying to yourself, oh, yeah. But you had to get it out, and you had somebody to help you move that conversation along. And that's what we do. So with that, thank you again, Russell. We would love to have you again if you are willing, and the time and everything, because I know you're a celebrity and everything. So I got to make sure I can get you back on your calendar.
Yeah, this has been a pleasure, Barbara. I'd love the opportunity to come back. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So with that, we'll see each other again with another episode of the Coaches Lounge with yours truly. My name is Barbara J. Beckley. Here we're with spotlight experts for advice for life and in business. And I always say that it's so important to get those coaches, because the biggest thing is you have a purpose. Everybody does. You have a light in you that's there to shine, not only for your life, but to help others. And if you don't know how to move in certain directions in that area to move that purpose out, then that's where you get people to help you and get the right ones so they can get that out there. Because everybody needs your purpose, because you are something that somebody needs out there. Somebody needs you. So remember that. And remember always to say to yourself that I will never want to dim my light because I didn't want to get help. With that said, we will see you at the next Coaches Lounge. You take care.